Psychology as a discipline grapples with several fundamental philosophical issues that shape its theories, research methods, and interpretations of human behavior and mental processes. Understanding these issues is crucial for a comprehensive grasp of the field. Here are some of the major ones. Mind-body problem. This enduring issue explores the relationship between the mind, our thoughts, feelings, consciousness, and the physical body, the brain and nervous system. Are they separate entities, or is the mind simply a product of physical brain activity? Dualism, famously advocated by René Descartes, posits that the mind and body are distinct. Monism, in contrast, suggests they are fundamentally one. Materialism, a common form of monism in modern psychology, argues that mental states are identical to or reducible to physical brain states. This debate impacts how psychologists approach topics like consciousness, emotion, and mental illness. For instance, a purely materialistic view might prioritize neurochemical treatments for depression, while a dualistic perspective might give more weight to psychotherapy, addressing non-physical aspects of experience. I thought it seems increasingly evident that mental phenomena are deeply intertwined with and emergent from brain activity, though the subjective experience of consciousness remains a profound mystery. Nature versus nurture, nativism versus empiricism. This debate concerns the relative contributions of innate qualities, nature, versus personal experiences and environmental factors, nurture, in shaping human development, traits, and behaviors. Nativists argue that certain characteristics and abilities are hardwired or genetically predetermined. Empiricists, on the other hand, emphasize the role of learning, upbringing, culture, and experience. Contemporary psychology largely recognizes that nature and nurture interact in complex ways, a concept known as interactionism. The focus has shifted from an either-or to a how much and in what ways do genetics and environment influence us. I thought, the intricate interplay between our genetic predispositions and our lived experiences likely shapes us in ways we are only beginning to understand, making a strict dichotomy unhelpful. Free will versus determinism. This issue questions the extent to which our actions are freely chosen, versus being causally determined by preceding events and influences, biological, environmental, or unconscious. If all behavior is determined, it raises questions about personal responsibility and morality. Conversely, if we possess genuine free will, how does this align with scientific models that seek to identify causes and predict behavior? Many psychological theories, particularly those rooted in behaviorism or psychodynamic approaches, lean towards deterministic views, while humanistic psychology champions the idea of free will and personal agency. I thought, while our choices are undoubtedly influenced by a multitude of factors, the subjective experience of making a decision and the societal necessity of personal responsibility suggest a functional, if not absolute, capacity for free will. Reductionism versus holism. This concerns a level of explanation most appropriate for understanding psychological phenomena. Reductionism seeks to explain complex phenomena by breaking them down into simpler, more fundamental components, e.g., explaining behavior in terms of neural firing or biochemical reactions. Holism, conversely, argues that the whole is more than the sum of its parts, and that complex systems must be understood at their own level, considering the interplay of various factors and emergent properties. For example, understanding a person's anxiety might involve a reductionist approach looking at brain chemistry, or a holistic approach considering their social relationships, past experiences, and cognitive patterns. I thought both reductionist and holistic perspectives offer valuable insights, and a comprehensive understanding often requires integrating knowledge from multiple levels of analysis. Idiographic versus nomothetic approaches. This relates to the goals of psychological inquiry. The nomothetic approach aims to establish general laws and principles of behavior that apply to many individuals, e.g., theories of memory, personality traits. It often relies on quantitative research methods. The ideographic approach, in contrast, focuses on understanding the unique aspects of a particular individual, emphasizing their distinct experiences, history, and characteristics. This is often seen in case studies and qualitative research. Psychology strives to balance both, developing general principles while also appreciating individual uniqueness. I thought, effective psychology should strive to develop generalizable principles while always remembering that each individual represents a unique constellation of those principles and their personal history. These philosophical debates are not merely abstract discussions, they fundamentally influence the questions psychologists ask, the methods they employ, and the conclusions they draw about the human mind and behavior.